What do we mean when we say the word pagan? For many, the term conjures images of ancient rituals, mysterious forests, forgotten gods. In its simplest form, paganism is a broad collection of spiritual paths inspired by the nature-based beliefs of our pre-Christian ancestors. It's not one single religion but rather an umbrella term. Think of it less like a specific book with rigid rules, and more like a vast library of interconnected stories and practices. The word pagan itself has a fascinating history. It actually comes from the Latin word paganus, meaning country dweller, meaning villager. As Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, it first took hold in the major cities. Rural people, the pagani, were often the last to convert. Modern paganism or neo-paganism is a revival of these spiritual paths. What unites them is connection to the earth, recognition of divinity in many forms, masculine, feminine, and a desire to live with the changing seasons. It's a living, evolving spirituality. Paganism is not devil worship. That misconception has persisted for centuries. The figure of Satan or the devil belongs to Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Paganism predates them and sits outside that theological frame. The focus is nature, not a single malevolent entity. Pagan traditions emphasize balance in nature, light, dark, creation, destruction, seen as parts of a whole. Paganism is polytheistic. That means it recognizes many gods and goddesses. These are not distant, abstract beings. They are powerful personifications of natural forces, human emotions, and life's great mysteries. In the Norse tradition, known as Asatru or heathenry, one of the most prominent figures is Odin, the All-Father. Odin is a god of wisdom, poetry, war, and magic. He famously sacrificed one of his eyes in exchange for profound knowledge. Another major figure is Thor, the mighty god of thunder. He wields the magical hammer Mjolnir. Thor is a protector of humanity. He symbolizes strength, courage, and order. Then there is Freyja, a powerful goddess associated with love, beauty, fertility, and a form of magic called satyr. She's also a fierce warrior who claims half of the warriors slain in battle for her own hall. Moving to the Celtic world, we encounter a different but equally vibrant pantheon. One iconic figure is the horned god, often known as Cernunnos. He represents the untamed wilderness, the virility of nature, the cycle of the hunt, and the life force of the animal kingdom. He is the masculine energy of the earth, a symbol of fertility and wildness. His female counterpart is the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, the crone. These deities are not just characters in ancient stories. For pagans, they are active forces in the world. They represent archetypes that help individuals understand themselves and the universe. For example, someone starting a new creative project might seek inspiration from Bridget, associated with poetry, smithcraft, and healing. Someone facing a great challenge might draw strength from the steadfastness of Thor. The gods and goddesses of paganism provide a rich tapestry of symbols and energies to help people navigate life's complexities. At the heart of many pagan traditions is a deep reverence for the cycles of nature. This is most beautifully expressed through the celebration of the Wheel of the Year. This is a calendar of 8 seasonal festivals, or sabbats, that mark key moments in the Earth's annual journey. It begins with Samhain, around October 31st, the pagan New Year, followed by Yule, the winter solstice, which celebrates the rebirth of the sun. These festivals connect pagans directly to the rhythm of the land and the cosmos. Imbolc in early February marks the first stirrings of spring. Ostara, the spring equinox, celebrates balance and new growth. Beltane on May 1st is a joyous festival of fertility, fire, and life. Litha, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Lugnasad in August marks the beginning of the harvest season. Mabon, the autumn equinox, is a time of balance once more before cycling back to Samhain. These celebrations ground spirituality in the tangible world. Many pagans practice magic, but this is often misunderstood. Pagan magic is not about supernatural tricks or bending reality with a flick of a wand as seen in fantasy stories. Instead, it is the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with will. It's a focused practice of using natural energies, symbolism, and personal intention to bring about a desired outcome. Another core belief is animism, the idea that everything in nature, stones, trees, rivers, animals, possesses a spirit or a life force. This fosters a profound respect for the environment and all living things. Pagans often see the divine not as something separate from the world, but as immanent within it. The earth itself is often revered as a sacred being, a great mother. This belief encourages an ecological consciousness, as harming the planet is seen as harming a sacred entity. This worldview promotes a sense of interconnectedness, where humans are part of a larger sacred web of life. The origins of paganism are as ancient as humanity itself. They're not rooted in a single founder or a single holy book, but in the earliest attempts of people to understand the world around them. Long before recorded history, our ancestors lived in close communion with nature. They observed the changing seasons, the phases of the moon, the movements of the stars. They saw divinity in the sun that gave them warmth, the earth that provided food, the rain that nourished their crops. These early nature-based beliefs formed the foundation of what we now call paganism. As civilizations rose in places like ancient Greece, Rome, Egypt, and Northern Europe, these foundational beliefs evolved into complex and organized polytheistic religions. The Romans worshipped Jupiter, Juno, Mars. The Greeks honored Zeus, Hera, Athena. The Celts had gods like Lugh, goddesses like Brigid, and spiritual leaders, the Druids. While each culture had unique myths and rituals, they shared a common pagan framework: multiple deities, a reverence for nature, and a focus on living in balance. The decline of these ancient pagan religions began with the rise and spread of Christianity. Starting in the 4th century CE, when Christianity became the state religion of the Roman Empire, a systematic effort was made to convert pagan populations. Temples were destroyed or converted into churches, sacred groves were cut down, and laws were passed forbidding the worship of the old gods. This process took centuries. The old ways did not simply vanish overnight. They went underground, surviving in folk customs, local legends, herbal lore, and superstitions, often blended with a thin veneer of Christian belief. These faint echoes never truly died out. They lay dormant in the cultural soil of Europe. When the Renaissance sparked renewed interest in classical antiquity, people began rediscovering the myths and philosophies of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Later, during the Romantic movement, there was a fascination with folklore, nature, and the pre-Christian past of Ireland, Germany, and Scandinavia. From that fertile ground, modern paganism began to sprout in the 20th century. When people speak of a dark side to paganism, they're often touching upon aspects that are mysterious, misunderstood, or deal with the more challenging parts of life. One such element is the concept of the dark goddess. In many mythologies, there are powerful female deities associated with death, destruction, and the underworld, such as the Greek Hecate, the Hindu Kali, or the Celtic Morrigan. These figures are not evil. Rather, they represent necessary and powerful forces of transformation. They embody the idea that sometimes things must end, break down, or be destroyed to make way for new growth. They teach that there's wisdom to be found in darkness, sorrow, and loss. Another area often viewed with suspicion is the connection to the dead and the spirit world. The festival of Samhain, the ancestor of modern Halloween, is a prime example. This is a time when the veil between the world of the living and the world of the spirits is considered to be at its thinnest. For pagans, this is not a time for horror or fear, but a sacred occasion for honoring and remembering the ancestors. It's about accepting death as a natural and integral part of the cycle of life. It's about respect and remembrance. The practice of divination, such as reading tarot cards, runes, or scrying in a dark mirror, can also seem shadowy to outsiders. These practices are not about predicting a fixed, unchangeable future. Instead, they're tools for introspection and gaining insight. They're used to explore the subconscious mind, uncover hidden influences, and examine potential outcomes. A tarot reading acts as a psychological mirror, using ancient symbols and archetypes to help a person understand their feelings, challenges, and strengths more clearly. It's a way of seeking guidance from within, not from a sinister external force. Finally, the acceptance of life's shadow self is a key, if sometimes uncomfortable, theme. Unlike some religions that encourage suppression of negative emotions like anger, jealousy, or sorrow, many pagan paths encourage acknowledging and understanding these parts of ourselves. The goal is not to act on every dark impulse, but to integrate the shadow so it doesn't control us from the unconscious, achieving greater self-awareness and wholeness. One of the most significant hurdles modern pagans face is the sheer weight of historical misinformation. For centuries, the primary narrative about paganism was written by its rivals. Early Christian writers often depicted pagan gods as demons and their rituals as depraved orgies. This propaganda was incredibly effective and has lingered in the collective consciousness. As a result, many people today still associate paganism with dark arts, evil intentions, and forbidden practices, without realizing these ideas were created as a tool to discredit a competing belief system. The reality is that pagan ethics are typically centered on personal responsibility, and causing no harm. Another common misconception is that all pagans are Wiccans. While Wicca is indeed the largest and most well-known pagan religion, it's only one path among many. It's kind of like assuming all Christians are Catholics. There is a vast diversity within the pagan community. There are Druids who focus on Celtic traditions and the wisdom of trees and stones. There are heathens who honor the Norse gods and follow a code of honor and hospitality. There are Hellenic pagans who revive the worship of the Greek pantheon. Each tradition has its own unique history, theology, and set of practices. The image of a pagan can also be a source of stereotypes. Many people picture a figure cloaked in black, living in a remote forest, completely detached from modern life. While some pagans certainly enjoy a rustic lifestyle, the vast majority are ordinary people living contemporary lives. They're teachers, doctors, IT specialists, artists, and parents. They use smartphones, drive cars, and participate in society just like anyone else. Their spirituality is integrated into their daily lives, rather than requiring them to withdraw from the world. Finally, there's a misunderstanding about the purpose of ritual. To an outsider, a pagan ritual might look like mere theatrics, but for participants, it's a deeply meaningful experience that creates sacred space where transformation can occur and reinforces core beliefs in a shared communal experience. The influence of ancient paganism is woven so deeply into the fabric of our modern culture, we often fail to see it. Take our calendar, for example. Tuesday comes from Tiu, a Norse god of war. Wednesday is Woden's Day, another name for Odin. Thursday is Thor's Day. Friday is named for either Freya or Frigg. Even our major holidays have pagan roots. Christmas is celebrated around the time of the winter solstice, the ancient festival of Yule. It incorporates traditions like the Yule log and decorating an evergreen tree. Similarly, Easter is filled with pagan symbolism. Its name derives from Ostara, the Germanic goddess of dawn and spring. The egg and rabbit, ancient symbols of fertility. Halloween evolved directly from the Celtic festival of Samhain. These are not coincidences. As Christianity spread, it often absorbed and repurposed the powerful seasonal celebrations of the pagan peoples it encountered. Beyond holidays, paganism's legacy thrives in our art, literature, and entertainment. Think Shakespeare, fairies and spirits in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Think Tolkien. The Lord of the Rings draws heavily on Norse and Anglo-Saxon mythology. Modern superhero movies are a perfect example. Thor and Loki become blockbuster comic characters. This constant retelling keeps archetypes and their powerful lessons alive. In conclusion, paganism is far more than a historical curiosity. It's a living, diverse family of spiritual paths. It offers a profound connection to nature, a rich mythology, and a framework for personal growth. While it has been misunderstood for centuries, its core tenets, reverence for the earth, acceptance of life cycles, and recognition of divinity in many forms, are resonating with more people today. Its legacy is in the enduring human quest for a spirituality that is grounded, balanced, and in harmony with the world around us.